Greetings and welcome to today's session. I would like to thank whoever has been following me on my YouTube channel. So when you open YouTube, you search for KAKURU BENARD on YouTube. So here you search for KAKURU BENARD. When you search for KAKURU BENARD, you can as well find interest in any of these topics or any of these video lessons. Some members are looking out for KAKURU BENARD on database, expression web, spreadsheets, publisher, web design, WordPress, PowerPoint, answering item 1, WordPress, video lesson, designing website in video lesson 1, KAKURU BENARD paper 1, item 2, KAKURU BENARD elements of construct, and much more. So when you go on YouTube, search for KAKURU BENARD. So when you search for KAKURU BENARD, you will get this kind of branding, this logo with my name. So you click KAKURU BENARD. From there, you click under videos. When you click on videos, you are able to experience a number of video lessons that have been put on this YouTube channel for ICT, both new curriculum and old curriculum. Those who are in the new curriculum and those who are in A level, all the video lessons are here. So when we start from senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, senior 4, senior 5, senior 6, all the video lessons are here, including those ones who need skills in ICT. This is the best channel you can find all the resources from. So in today's session, we are going to be looking at how to answer only item 1 of ICT paper 2 new curriculum. Only item 1 in ICT new curriculum. Let's get started. Item 2. So to begin with, let's look at item 1. We interpret it and then we do it. So we get started. Item 1. In a certain neighborhood, a women's self-help group called Twegate Savings Group was established to promote savings and loans among its members. The group treasurer records all the transactions in a manual ledger. But as the group grows, it has become difficult to manage the records efficiently. Some members have raised concerns about delays in getting financial reports and inconsistencies in the loan repayment calculations. A new member suggested automating the system for better management of records. The treasurer extracted the records into a file called Twegate savings.docs, and the group has also provided a template for loan reminders in the file loan reminder.docs. Now, the task: using the support files provided, A, create an electronic version of the records and use it to provide a visual summary of members' savings contributions. B, generate a list of members who have outstanding loan balances and prepare a loan reminder for each member. So this is our item 1. And then when it comes to item 2, we shall handle it. But for now, let's first handle item 1. So remember, while dealing with item 1, in the element of construct, it says that a learner manipulates data using different application programs. So when you are attempting item 1, you are supposed to use different application programs. And these are the skills we are looking out for. Have you managed to use an appropriate application? Did you manage to do data entry, e.g. tabulation of data? Then have you done editing? Have you done formatting? Have you used relevant application tools? Then did you manage to do data representation? If it is PowerPoint, have you applied some multimedia clips? Then maybe you have also included some graphical objects. If it is Excel, there are some graphical objects, etc. Then lastly, have you managed to represent the product in form of soft copy and then the printed work, which we call hard copies. So meaning that item 1 in total will carry 30 marks. So let's now get started. We can look for the support files. So here are the support files. We have what we call Twegate savings document. Here it is. This is how it is organized. I close it. We have loan reminder. Here is a letter reminding members. And then there is something like a logo I see here. Now, this is the data we are going to use. We are going to copy this information. Let's copy from the support files. I close. Then we create our working folder, which I'm going to call KAKURU BENARD. KAKURU BENARD 001. I open it. I create a new folder called item 1. Then I paste what I've copied in item 1 folder. So that I copy from support files and use it in my working folder. So I've started now. So when you look at this scenario question, they are saying create an electronic version of the records and use it to provide a visual summary of members' saving contribution, generate a list of members who have outstanding loan balances, and prepare a loan reminder for each member. So that is our task. So meaning that I'm going to open this Twegate savings document, and after opening it, we can now make it a table. So I can highlight this, I go around here and say all borders for now. Having put the borders, we can even put like a heading. This is Twegate savings group members, something like this. So I can highlight, I can increase its font size, I can change font color, I can underline, I can bold, I can put my name as my header, and I put my footer as my personal number 001. I close. So these are a few things I can do here in Microsoft Word for now. I save changes. Now we can copy this table. So we copy our table. We can now create an Excel here. So let me create Excel. I call it Twegate savings. I open, I paste my table here. So on pasting our table, we can now try to expand a bit these columns. Something like that. Something like that. So with this, we can even, when you look at our ID column, it has this 00, so we can put them there also. So here we can highlight this column. We can customize it, so we can right click, format cells, under custom, click on this 0 below general, then we add here more 2 zeros, we click OK. So our data now has the zeros at the start. We can center our content. I save changes. So we are going to copy this data. We put it on sheet 2. Having put it on sheet 2, we can do some calculations on sheet 2. 1, we can get the loan balances, equal signs. We get the loan that the member 2 minus what the member has paid so far. So when we press enter, we are able to get the loan balances in that format. Then more to that, we can do other calculations, like we can get the total amount that was saved here. total amount saved. So here we can get the total amount that members have saved. Here equal signs sum, we add up the total savings here, we get that. Then more to that, we can calculate something to do with the total amount, the total loan amount, or the total amount that is loaned, total amount loaned. So let's calculate it here. Equal signs sum, open brackets, we add up amount that was loaned, press enter. Then we can also add this one, amount repaid so far, total amount repaid. We calculate it here. Equal sign sum, we open brackets, we add up amount that was repaid, enter. Then we can also bring something to do with maybe number of members who have loan balances, members with loan balance. So here we can also calculate that in this column here. Equal signs count if, we open brackets, we highlight these ones, we put comma, open quotes, we say we want those ones with loan balances greater equal to 1. We close the quotes, close the brackets, like that. We press enter. So we have these 5 people with loan balances. Then we can also get members who have members with no loan balance. So here we can calculate members with no loan balances in this row. Equal signs count if, open brackets, we highlight our range, we put a comma, open quotes, we say less equal to 0. We close quotes, we close the brackets, enter. So those who have no loan balances are 2. Then we can highlight our work, we put grids. So let's highlight our work, we put some grid lines. So we can put all borders, something like that. Then more to that, on our work, having put grids, let's now generate a graph. For example, we can highlight member name and the total savings. So hold down control, highlight total savings, we go to insert, then we go under columns. We can pick like a 2D column graph like that. We can right click and move chart to a new sheet. We can call it this is a column graph. Then we click OK. So this graph we need to put x-axis, y-axis, and the title. So under layout we can pick this layout 9, which shows all these. So on top here we can say a column graph showing amount saved against names. So we press enter, the title goes there. Let's fill the x-axis, these are names, we press enter, then we click here, this is y-axis, we put amount, we press enter. So we have labeled our chart well. Let's go to sheet 1 here, we rename it, we can call it original, enter. This sheet 2 we can right click and rename it we can call it computed. So the graph is here. So here we need to put at least let's make it better. I can highlight, can come under maybe conditional formatting. I can put some color schemes, something like that. Then we can as well put headers and footers. Let's go to insert, header and footer. So under header, I can put my names. Then I got footer and put my personal number. Now this work has been split. We can go to page layout, orientation. We put it to landscape. Yeah, so the work is fitting very well. Save changes. So on printing, it means that the work is fitting on that landscape page. So you choose A4. After choosing A4, ensure that the work is fitting. Then you can choose print. Then you go to graph, you also print it. Go to original work, you also print it. So for now, we are done with our work here, Excel. Let's go to another application. We are going to create access to save this data and create an electronic storage. So this I can as well call it to a Gate savings database. So we open it. Now that we have a table in Excel, we are going to import into Excel. I mean into Access. Let me enable content. I go to external data, new data source from file, Excel. This data is on the desktop. I browse desktop. I look for my folder, KAKURU BENARD 001. From here, I enter item 1. I look for this Excel. I click OK. From there, I'm going to use original sheet. I click next. First rows contain column headings. Make sure that one is ticked. Next. Next. Choose a primary key. We have member ID, so I choose that. I select member ID. Next, I can call this savings table. I can call it savings. I finish. I close. Now we have our table called savings. Everything is here. And now, you know, in database, we can create some objects. To begin with, we can create at least a query. So let's create a query. I'm going to use Query Wizard. I click OK. I take all fields using the double arrow. So it can take all the fields. Then we click next. Next. So this query, we can call it, for example, total savings query. I click modify, finish. So this is our query. We are going to use this total savings query to calculate the loan balance. So here we click there and go to builder. Reaching here, we can remove that. We also remove that. Then at this point, I can put columns. So we are going to get amount that was taken as loan, something like that, minus what has been repaid, like this. We click OK. We run our query. So it shows here the loan balances. We save that. We can also create another query which is showing members who have loan balances. We create Query Wizard. I click OK. I can get it from the total savings query. I take all fields. Next, next. Then this one I can say members with loan balance. Members with loan balance. I modify, finish. So at this point, we are going here to get those with loan balance. So the query criteria I can put here is greater equal to 1. I run. So these are members who have loan balances. I save changes, I close. Let's create another query of members with no loan balance. So create query wizard, I click OK. I choose from the total savings query. I click next, next, next. Let's call it members with no loan balance. So we click modify and finish. So we come to this column and say less equal to 0. We run our query. These are members who have no loan balances, they have cleared. So we save changes and close. So those are some queries you can create. Let's now at least create a form. Create form wizard. I choose from the total savings query. I take all fields. Next. Can leave it columnar. Next. We can call it let's say total savings form. We click finish. Here is our form. We can do some modifications. Click view, design view. We are going to at least change maybe the background color here. Can choose something like yellow. Here I can right click. I can choose that kind of background color. At this point, I can put a footer. So we add a footer here of our names. To identify this work from a colleague. Then we can as well put date and time here. I can put date and time. I click OK. So date and time will be there. What else can we put on our form? We can put the title. Instead of total savings form, we can put Twegate savings form. Yes, that is our title. Then more to that, we can put like a logo or an image of Twegate. So I can go to insert, I browse, I go to desktop, the support files, I mean in my folder, item 1, this is the logo. So I can draw something here like that. So when we click view, form view, that is our form, title, logo, date and time, background color, and the footer. So if you are printing the form, you can go to file, print, preview. You first check how your form will look like when printed. Then from there, order for printing, you close. So we are done with our form. Let's now create a report. Create report wizard. Let's also create from the total savings query. Take all fields. Next. Next. Let's sort, for example, our member name in ascending order. We click next. Tabular portrait. Next. Let's call it total savings report. And then we click on finish. So here is our report. We can modify a few things. Close print preview. I saw member name is very long. We can reduce it a bit up to around there. I can bring this behind. Total savings need to be increased a bit, then brought behind. Then amount that was taken as loan, also we do like that. Amount repaired, like that. Then the balance can also be expanded a bit. So we can also put a background color here. Can pick, for example, that. This one we can also choose a different color. So here we put that color. You can pick a different color, something like that. Let's put a header, I mean a footer here. A footer, let me put my personal number. Then in the here we can change this to a Gate savings group report. After putting that, we can also put an image to act as a logo. So we can draw it around here. After putting that, we can also think we are done having put all this. If you click view, report view, that is our report. Save changes. We are done here, so we close our application. Let's now check our loan reminder letter and we finish this number. So at this point, we have this file. We need now to do mail merge using our using our database. The question is asking us to generate a list of members who have outstanding loan balances and prepare reminder letters. So meaning that in our database, we have a query of members with loan balance, this one. It's what we shall use in doing our mail merge. So let's get started using that very query, members with loan balance. So here we go to mailings, select recipients, use an existing list. From there, our list is on the desktop in our folder KAKURU BENARD 001 under item 1. So we select our database to get the savings database. Then from there, it is asking us, where are you picking the data source? We are going to use members with loan balance, these ones. Remember, we have a table, then these are queries. We want members with loan balance, we click OK. After that, we are going to have, for example, date. We can put today's date and all that. So let's insert merge fields, dear member. So let's select member, insert merge fields, member name. Then this is a reminder regarding outstanding loan you took from Together Savings Group. According to our records, you are currently having a balance here, loan balance. Insert merge field, loan balance. So this we can even bold it. Then of the loan you took, so this one here, we highlight loan amount. We can highlight also and bold. Then before due date, so we can give them date. For example, before 30th September 2024. That's the date we are giving them. And then today's date, we can even use insert date and time. Wednesday today, we click OK. So far our letter is getting complete. Under mailings, we can preview results. So far, this is how our letter looks like. Best regards, treasurer name, KAKURU BENARD. Okay. So at this point, we can see all those who have loan reminders. There are 5. Let's modify our letter. We can select all. For example, choose Times New Roman, font size 14. I can justify my work. Now I want us to make something like a headed paper. I'm going to copy this. I can cut it. I open here. I paste it in the header. After pasting it in the header, let me center, increase font size, Can make it more bigger, something like that. Can even make it capital letters. After, I'm going to put a logo. I go to insert picture, this device. On the desktop, I look for my folder here, I mean my logo here, Twegate. Here it is. We can reduce it a bit. Then I go under wrap text. I can choose any of these. There is tight, for example, tight. We reduce it a bit, or let me make it, for example, in front or behind any of these. Then we adjust where to put it. For example, there. So that is our logo. We are trying to make a headed paper. I go to insert shapes. Let me pick this. I draw a line somewhere here. Then shape outline. Can make it red. I can increase the weight to about 6. So this is our headed letter. I'm going to insert a footer of my personal number 001 KAKURU BENARD. Okay, so at this point we are done modifying our letter. This one we can put it to the right. We can press some enter here, create some more space. Can even increase the line spacing a bit, something like that. Can even put here drop cap. Let's put like a drop cap, something like that, with this kind of color. And then still under mailings, we go to finish and merge, edit individual documents. We click all, okay. So at this point, these are the letters going to the 5 people. So we save this in our working folder on the desktop, KAKURU BENARD item 1. These are loan reminder letters. We click save. We close. This one, we don't need it. And now, this means that when you look at our folder here, this file, we don't need it because we have generated the last one. So in our folder, we have so far finished this number. So when you look at here, use of appropriate application, when you look through this item and the support files, they should give you a way forward on which applications you are going to use. Data entry, have you done some data entry? Yes, we entered it in Excel. We also entered it in database, and you have seen that. Then editing, we have edited our Word document to suit this. Formatting, we have done formatting of the content. We have used different tools. Representation of data, we have done some graphical objects. For example, we started with this document. We did editing and formatting in this document. From there, we created Excel where we had the original work. We did some formatting, that is data entry, part of data entry. We created a new sheet. We did calculations of the balance. We did all these calculations. We generated a graph. Then from there, we have also moved to database. We created a table by importing it. We created members with loan balance. We created a query with members with no loan balance. We created a query for total savings where we are calculating whoever has a balance or not. We created a form. We created a report. Finally, we generated the loan reminders for those who had loan balances. So we have finished our item 1. Grab a copy of these books. The books are available in stock, and there are also these other source for books, for example, for designing websites using Expression Web. There is also that one for designing websites using WordPress, and also this other ICT Mastery, one of the comprehensive one. ICT Mastery for Uganda's competence-based curriculum, S1 to S4 guide to theory and practical success. Grab this book and do your best with ICT. My contacts are here. Please can call me, you can WhatsApp me and see how best you can have this book. 07756 Call me, WhatsApp me, and you see how best you can get these books. This is ICT paper 2, and in the previous video we had looked at this scenario and the task, where the scenario was saying that in Kampala, a community-focused organization called Uganda Digital Skills Foundation, UDSF, has been dedicated to training Ugandans in ICT health and safety for the past 8 years. Recently, UDSF was invited by Ubuntu Tech Academy, a growing tech company, to conduct a 5-day ICT health and safety training for its team. This training aimed at equipping employees with best practices for a safe digital workspace, successfully covered key areas relevant to the tech industry. During the program, each of the 10 participants from Ubuntu Tech Academy received a daily allowance of 20,000 Ugandan shillings in recognition of their performance. Certificates of excellence were awarded to the 3 most outstanding trainees. Task: using the support files provided, prepare a report on this training program and send it to the training manager. You are required to include all the relevant documentation and summaries of the training outcomes. So we are going to first approach this item 1, then after we can do item 2. So having read through the scenario and the task, we can now look at the support files, what has been provided in the support files, so that we can know what to use and what to do with these support files. So these are the support files on the desktop, and we have item 1 folder. Item 1 folder, I can see it has images, there is a video clip, then I can see these are images, a logo, then here there is an Excel file, then there is also a Word document file. Okay, when you look at this Word document file, I can see it has some headings from here. You can see it has some headings and all that. So meaning that having looked at these support files, we can now create a folder in our names. After creating a folder in our names, that means that we are going to save our work in this folder. So let's create another folder called item 1. We can also have another one called item 2. Then in item 1, it's where we are going to save our content. So you need to remember that while approaching item 1, you are manipulating data using different application programs. So the skills required, you should use an appropriate application. We should see data entry, maybe if it has involved tabulation of data, we are going to see that. Then there must be editing. You are provided with support files, so you should edit them. More to that, formatting, making your work visually appealing. Then relevant use of application tools. Then more to that, representation of data in brackets multimedia clips if you have used PowerPoint. Then graphical objects if you have maybe used Excel. Then Roman 7, we need a product both in soft copy and hard copy. So you need to remember that for item 1 of paper 2, you must have covered the following application programs. That is word processing 1 and 2, spreadsheet 1 and 2, presentation, and then database management system. So the task, the scenario, and the support files, the three are the ones which determine the appropriate application tools the appropriate application programs to use in addressing and approaching that very item. So when we go back to our support files in item 1, we have already seen there is Excel, meaning that we are going to do some calculations within our Excel. Then we have also seen that there is this Word document. So this Word document, we are actually going to use this Word document to create a presentation. So some of us who have been asking, where do we apply presentation? Where does presentation come in? So today we are looking at this item and seeing how we are going to apply Microsoft PowerPoint. So we are going to use PowerPoint, Excel, and Microsoft Word on this very item. Let's get started. We have created a folder in our names, item 1. So from here we are going to save our work. So I open item 1 folder, and now from item 1 folder I'm going to use this file which was called training presentation content. So I'm going to create a Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. I can call it KAKURU BENARD. I open. Then this presentation I'm going to import the details of this training presentation content into this presentation. So we go new slide, slides from outline. We look for them from the desktop, ICT support files, item 1, training presentation content. We now load them into our presentation. So this one gives you ready created presentation slides. So from here, we can now modify them and make a clear presentation by utilizing the support files, the images provided. We have been given even a video and all that. So let's get started. We can first put a design. So under design, from here, pick a design of your choice. For example, me, I can put this retrospect. That is my design so far. Then the rest you can put animations, you can put transitions, you can put headers and footers and all that. So we go to view, slide master. Under slide master, scroll up and select the first slide, which is the parent slide. You make it a slide master. We can do the following customization. One, I can change the headings, let's say to Times New Roman, bordered, maybe with a shadow, and maybe color blue, and increase font size maybe to 50, 54. Then here also Times New Roman, and maybe font size 32. Go to insert header and footers. We can put slide numbers, we can put date and time, we can put a foot of our names, we can apply all. More to that, we can have at least a logo, insert picture, this device, desktop. From the support files, item 1, here is a logo. We can reduce it, we put it somewhere here. More to that, we can also look at We can put a line, for example this line, format shape, we can give it a certain color and increase width, something like that. Can put it somewhere there. I think from here we can put some animations, we can put some transitions. So headings, we go to animations, we can choose, for example, maybe swivel. Someone can choose grow and turn. Then for the text, select the text box. You can put, for example, bounce. Those are the animations. Save changes. Someone would also put transitions, so you have to put transitions. So with transitions, pick any. For example, you can pick doors, apply to all. Someone would put also to automatically run after 0.2 seconds, apply to all, save changes. Another one would put sound, any. For example, maybe camera, I apply to all. These are some of the things you can do with the slide master, and they are applied everywhere. So go to slide master tab, close master view. So we have put a logo to appear on every slide. So from here we can now make slide 1. The layout here we can change our slide 1. This one, go to layout and say title slide. So that this one we can try to edit it. For example, something like this. I can also highlight this, I center, we can hold, can even change font style maybe to Arial, yes, something like that, Arial narrow. One would put some image, so let me go to insert picture from this device. I can see some images here. I can insert one here, can use crop, try to reduce it a bit, something like this. We are making our slide stand out. Let me put a logo somewhere from this device. Here is our logo. We can put it somewhere here. Then more to that, we can put more images on our slides. For example, training objectives or key areas covered. Let's insert an image. Can put something like this. This image can fill this space. Okay. More to that, this is about ergonomics. Then we can also put another image here. We can insert and put some other image here. Can reduce it. We can change. Let me put this. This one is about screen time. So this is the screen time, so that we reduce screen time. Then we can even put another slide here. This slide, we can add more, for example, best practices. Best practices. And under best practice, I can come to layout. I can put 2 column content. Here, I'm going to insert a video because I saw a video in our work. So insert video, or go to insert and choose video from here, from your device, or from these menus, select video. So I got desktop. In the support files, item 1, there is a video. So I've inserted a video here. So this video is able to play. So here, that is our video. Then here we can insert an image. For example, one would put this about stress management. So this video is about stress management. I mean, this image is about stress management. Okay. Then in the next slide, we can put more images. For example, here we can put another image so that we distribute images across our presentation. So this image, we are looking at training objectives. Where else can we put an image? Maybe here. It's about digital safety. Okay, so at least the images are matching with our presentation and the topic. So lastly, one would link slides to one another. So let's go to insert, shapes, scroll down to action buttons. We draw an action button here, link to next slide. Okay, go to the next slide, go to insert, shapes, action buttons. You draw here, then from here link to next slide, click OK. Go to the next, go to insert, shapes, and pick the action button. You link it to the next slide, OK. And here we do the same. We link this to the next slide, and finally when you reach on the last slide, we are not yet on the last slide. The last slide, we can link it to the first slide. So here we go under shapes, we pick this return button, we draw here and link this to the first slide. We click OK. So that is how linking is done. And maybe on this last slide we can put an image. Key takeaways, we are looking at safety in the workplace. So we save changes. So when you look at your presentation now from slide 1, we are looking at this. So let's try to run it. That was sound. That is an animation. How one slide, that is a transition. Those are animations. That is sound. So we have finished our multimedia presentation. When you come here, on this very slide, we have a video. Okay, so this is our last slide, and when you click this button, it should take you to the first slide, and that is our linking. So we are done here. To print, you click File, Print, then from your printer here, full page slides, choose your printer, then from there, full page slides, choose handouts, and these are our slides. All of them will appear on one page. This is presentation as part of our approach. So here we first designed the training materials using PowerPoint. So after designing the training materials using PowerPoint, we are done. So let's go in the support files. We get this file, we can save it. Click File, Save As. We save it in our working folder, that is on the desktop. KAKURU BENARD, item 1, training attendance financials. We can even leave it with that name and save. So here we are going to do editing and formatting of this data. So here we can begin by maybe changing the font style. I can maybe put it Times New Roman, maybe font size 14. That is editing so far. So participant name, daily allowance, etc. So I can add at least a new column for total allowance. So this, I can bold my headings. I can also wrap them, wrap text, something like that. So we have done wrap text, something like that. Even this we can do wrap text. Okay. So here we can do total allowance, equal signs. We can get total days attended times allowance that was given per day. So we press enter. We can now autofill. So this we have calculated. We can highlight our content. We come here and put grids or borders. We save changes. At this level, we can now maybe do some more designing. I can highlight this data. We apply at least a background color to the headings. Then we are now going to highlight participant name and total days attended. We can insert in a graph. One can insert a column graph, that is a 2D, a 3D. Someone else can insert a line graph. Another one can insert a pie chart, any graph. So for me, let me, for example, create a 2D bar graph. So this graph, I'm going to move it its own sheet. I can call it bar graph. Then I click OK. From here, I can put under quick layout, I can put all the details that we need. For example, layout 8, days attended. I can say a bar graph showing days attended. Then here, these are names of participants. Press enter. Then here we have days. Okay, that is our graph. So coming back here, I would like us to get the top 3 outstanding attendees. So when you look at here, there are those who attended all 5 days, others did not reach those days. So from here, we are going to copy this data. So we can copy this data, we add a new sheet, we paste this data here, and it is from this data we are going to sort this column according to largest to smallest. We sort. So here you can see the top here are the ones who attended all the days. So we can come to conditional formatting, maybe color schemes. We can put some color schemes on them. If we want, we can even remove this data below. So these are top, you can say top 3 attendees. So we save changes. Now that we have finished, we can put headers and footers. So we go to insert header footers. Then I can go to footer, I put my other name. Then I go to the data of top 3. I also insert my headers and footers. I go sort footer, I put my names. I go to the chart, bar graph. I also insert headers and footers, custom header. I put my name. Then I got footer, custom footer. I put my name. I click OK. OK. So here we are done with using our Excel. That is the calculations we have done. So lastly, we need to prepare a report. So far, the PowerPoint and the Excel are the relevant documentation and summaries. So let's now create a report. Finally, we are going to use Microsoft Word. So here we can right click, go to new, create Microsoft Word document. We can call it training report. So this training report, I'm going to show how best can you create an outstanding report. So I'm going to use at least advanced functions in Word, advanced features, because at this level, a senior 3 learner has completed all these topics in senior 1, has completed computer hardware, file management and folder, word processing 1, spreadsheet 1, electronic presentation, information access and sharing, health and safety, word processing 2, electronic spreadsheet 2, electronic publication, and database management system. So I'm going to showcase word processing 2 skills as well in this very number. So we are going to finally create a report. So I continue to encourage you to understand these skills as you are approaching these items. So please, if you haven't grabbed these books, grab a copy of these books. The books are available in stock, and there are also these other sourceful books, for example, for designing websites using Expression Web. There is also that one for designing websites using WordPress, and also this other ICT Mastery, one of the comprehensive one, ICT Mastery for Uganda's competence-based curriculum, S1 to S4 guide to theory and practical success. Grab this book and do your best with ICT. My contacts are here. Please can call me, you can WhatsApp me and see how best you can have this book. 077 56 107 62. Call me, WhatsApp me, and you see how best you can get these books. So let's now create a report. So we are going to create our report. We can start by writing some text, training reports. This report was, done by, we have seen Uganda Digital Skills. Yes. Uganda Digital Skills Foundation, and they were conducting ICT health and safety training program. So we can set this maybe report date. We can say November 2024. Report by, you can put your names, KAKURU BENARD. This can be some of the information that I will need maybe for my home page, for my first page. Then let's look at the details of the report. We can have introduction. So under introduction, we can say that this report, this report is an overview of the ICT health and safety training conducted by this one. That is Skills Foundation for employees of Ubuntu Tech Academy. The program held over 5 days, focused on the essential. Remember, you are getting all these details from the scenario itself, from the essential ICT practices to promote a safe and health digital workspace. So having done that, maybe someone can put training overview. What happened in the training? So here we can say, let's say the training was structured for 5 days, we may be covering a range of topics designed to educate participants on safe ICT practices, full stop. Sessions included. So here, when you look at the presentation we have just made, or the support files provided, they had some session outline. So here, when we open our Word document, there are some topics covered. We are looking at these ones, so we can copy this. We come here, so this one's here. Okay, yes, this one, this and this. So we have outlined them from the presentation itself. Then more to that, we can look at maybe financial summary. So with financial summary, we can say a total allowance of 20,000 Ugandan shillings per day was provided to each participant, something like that, based on attendance, full stop. So the summary below outlines total allowance dispersed. So here we can now go into our Excel data. Here, from this Excel template, we can copy this file here we copy this work on sheet 1 and we paste it here on our report. So we copy and paste. So here we have pasted our file. We shall come and modify it later. That was the total allowance. Then we can also continue to say for more details, refer to the attached Excel file. Then let's look at, maybe because they said in the question, remember we are getting all these details of report from the scenario provided. Then they talked about certificates. Okay, so we can say maybe certificates of excellence. So here we can say certificates of excellence were awarded to the top 3 participants, based on their performance throughout the training. Okay, so here that is it. So we can now bring out the top 3 participants from our Excel data. Top 3, we can highlight this data, we copy, we come in our Word document, we paste this information. Then more to that, we can talk about attendance. A total of 10 participants. From Ubuntu Tech Academy were trained for 5 days. Full comma. Though some trainees never attended all the days, others completed the whole training days. So something like this. So it means that consider the chart below. So here we can also go into Excel. We look at our bar graph. This one, we can copy our graph in Word. We come and paste here. So this is our graph showing how members attended, and finally we can see how to conclusion. So conclusion, we can say that the ICT health and safety training workshop program was a success. Full stop. It equipped participants of Ubuntu Tech Academy with practical skills for a safe digital workspace. So we recommend these trainings to other organizations. So here, having done this report, we now need to modify it so that it looks better. So here we can select all, can put say Times New Roman, maybe font size 14, for example, and justified. So from there, we can also have headings. For example, this introduction, highlight this, make it heading 1. Also this heading 1, financial summary, heading 1. More to that, certificates of excellence, heading 1. Attendance, heading 1. Conclusion, heading 1. Having put these headings, we can now put at least what we call, we are going to put table of contents on our report. We are also going to put list of figures on our tables and charts. So with this, I'm going to highlight this. I can reduce the fonts, the spacing here, so that it is as small as that. Then same applies here. Can reduce the line spacing. Then this one, we are going to increase font size. Can put it to center. We can increase font size. Here I'm going to put a logo. So I want us to design a better report. So a logo in item 1, can pick that kind of logo. Then this one, we can make it stand out. I can change maybe to Arial black. Training report. I can give it a certain color, for example that, and also to have the font color of their logo, something like that. Then from here we can have maybe this. I can put some line here. I can as well put a line here to have my report clear. Then below here I can insert an image from our support files. This image can be here, so that this one is our first page. So this is how our first page has been designed, like this. This is our first page. Then below here we can have at least table of contents. So I'm going to insert to references, table of contents. We can have table of contents here. This is our table of contents. So this table of contents, we can even highlight this. Under home, I can center. Here, uppercase can be bolded. Font size increased. So after table of contents, one would even put list of figures. So list of figures, for example, this is our table. Select it. Under references, insert caption. So from caption, this is table 1. We can say allowance distribution. That is the table. It must be above the table, the title. And so this is our caption allowance distribution is being talked about here. More to that, we have another table here. We can go to references, insert caption. Remember, here we are dealing with advanced word processing to also have these tools utilized. So these are top 3 participants. We click OK. So we can increase font size a bit. Then we have this graph. This graph, select it, references, insert caption. This one is a figure label. Instead of table, put figure. Then label it. So this one is saying this is a graph, a bar graph showing attendance. Click OK. So this one goes below. You can increase font size. And now we have our conclusion. It is from this that one can come here below table of contents. You insert list of tables. So below here, I go to insert table of figures. Here, list, caption, table. Click OK. So tables are here. Then we can also have list of figures. So below here, insert table of figures. Here you say figure. Okay. So here we are almost done. These ones we can also make them headings. So you come here, right click, update. So everything is now okay. So let's have this information starting on its own page. So this information is starting from its own page. We save changes. So how do we make our page 1 unique? So one, we can go to design. We can put at least a background color in our work. For example, I've decided to put that background color in our work. Another one, we would even now change. Let's now change our page 1 to have a unique background color. How do we do that? So first, ensure that all pages can be seen. We are going to draw a text box here. So under shapes, so let's insert a text box. I draw a text box up to there. After drawing that text box, make sure it covers your page very well, something like that. After making that text box, you come and say send backward, send behind text. Then from there, you can choose to fill the shape with a certain color that you are interested in. So for example, I'm interested in that kind of background color. So here, you can see page 1 has its own color than the rest of the other document pages. So finally, let's put a border under page design, page borders. I can choose shadow and of this size, of this color. I apply first page only. I click OK. So that is a border to page 1 only. So insert page numbers, bottom of page. I can insert page X of Y. So I insert at least page numbers in the center. Here we have our page numbers. After putting your page numbers on your document, our document has 4 pages. Our report, 4 pages. We have a cover page. We have table of contents, list of figures, introduction up to conclusion. So next is to print. Maybe before printing, make sure you don't have any spelling errors. So here, check and cross-check through. you can ignore those ones or you add them to the dictionary. So select do cross-checking and make sure that everything aligns well in your document. So we have done all that. That is reviewing your document to ensure that there are no spelling errors. So click OK. Now our document is fine. Save changes. Click File, Print. So on printing, for example, this is our page 1, is a cover page printed like that. Page 2 will be having table of contents, list of figures, and list of tables. Then here, introduction up to that. So at this level, we are done. So you choose A4 here, then you print your work. So that means that here we have finished dealing with item 1, where we managed to do a presentation, which we printed as handouts. We managed also to do a report in Word document. Here is our report. We also managed to do an Excel file while attempting item 1. So please, here the skills have been exhausted. We have exhausted all the skills. Use of appropriate application. We have used Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. We have done data entry. We have edited. We have formatted. You saw how our work was visual appealing, especially the report, the PowerPoint, and even Excel. We have used the different application tools. We have represented our data in form of multimedia. There was PowerPoint, because we also did graphical presentation. And finally, the soft copy is here. Grab a copy of these books. The books are available in stock, and there are also these other sourceful books, for example, for designing websites using Expression Web. There is also that one for designing websites using WordPress, and also this other ICT Mastery, one of the comprehensive one, ICT Mastery for Uganda's competence-based curriculum, S1 to S4 guide to theory and practical success. Grab this book and do your best with ICT. My contacts are here. Please can call me, you can WhatsApp me and see how best you can have this book. 077 56 107 62. Call me, WhatsApp me, and you see how best you can get these books. Recently paper that has been done by the senior 4 candidates in ICT paper 2. So here it has 2 items, and item 1 is saying that your aunt is the director of studies, that is the DOS of Moro School. Part of her work is to organize the results of O-level students according to the different categories of performance. She is supposed to use a computer to produce reports that will help the school management to make the following important decisions. All learners whose average score is 70 and above get a special recognition. Roman 2, the best 2 students appear on the head teacher's list of frame and each gets Ugandan shillings 10,000. Roman 3, the average score of the students on the head teacher's list must be represented graphically for easy understanding and use. Your aunt, however, has limited knowledge of using a computer. She has approached you for your help and given you the results in the students in the file student support1.xl. So let's look at that. Open support files, item 1. This is the file support1. After looking at that support, then go to the task. Make a report that your aunt will submit to the school management for decision making. So I want us to base on these Romans as we approach our task. So to begin with, we are going to create a folder. So I'm going to create a folder in my names and personal number. So after creating a folder in my names and personal number 004, I open. Inside, I create a folder for item 1. I can also create a folder for item 2. Then I got the support files, item 1. I copy this support. I go in my working folder item 1. I paste it there. So the responses that I'm going to give in this video, they are my own responses according to the scenario and the task given. So from here, we can rename this. For example, we call it moral school academic data. So I open. So after opening it from my folder, we can add a new column for average. Then we calculate average, which is equal signs average, open brackets. We can highlight these two, close brackets, enter. So here we have gotten our average. We can now autofill, save changes. Then we can copy this data and put it on sheet 2. We perform at least the following. So we are going to at least filter those members who have 70 and above. So here we are going to filter those members who have 70 and above. We can highlight the column for average. We come to sort and filter. We click on filter. After clicking on filter, then using this icon, you click on it, come to number filters and choose greater or equal to. So we put 70 and click OK. So after doing that, that means that we have gotten those who are above 70. Then the best 2 students appear on the teacher's list frame and each gets 10,000. So here, that means that we are going to sort those who are the best to appear on top. So we can highlight their average mark here. We highlight average mark. After highlighting average mark, we go back to sort and filter. Then we can say largest to smallest. So we expand the selection like that. So you can see the top 2 are the ones who are the best. The first one has 85.5 followed by 82. So now we can put a recognition column, recognition, and then under recognition, we can give a comment or a remark in form of the amount. We can say equal signs if average, equal signs, open brackets, if average is greater, for example, equal to 82, comma, open quotes, 10,000, close quotes, comma, open quotes, close brackets, enter. So these ones, when you drag and drop, so these ones have a recognition of 10,000. So we can highlight our work. We put the grids. Then after, we are going to create a graph of those who are the best. So we can choose name. So we highlight name and their average like this. We go to insert, column. We can pick, for example, this one. We can move this on its own sheet. Then here, new sheet, we can say column graph. We click OK. So here we can come to a quick layout, layout 9. We put the title, for example here, a column graph showing best 2 students. Then here, this is average mark. So we can press enter. We click here, average mark. So these are marks. Then we click here, these are names. Enter. So this is our chart. Then we can come to sheet 1, this one. We can rename it as, let's say, your first name, or you can call it average computed. Then I can come to this sheet 2. We can say above 70, above equal to 70. That is the sheet. Even computed, we can highlight. We put our grids. We put headers and footers. So we can go to insert, header and footers. Put a foot of your names. Then go to footer. Put your personal number. Go back to header. You can even highlight your titles. You put some background color. You save changes. We go to above chart. Go to insert, headers and footers. So here we can put, for example, our personal number. In the footer, we put our names. Go back to header. We can also highlight our work. We put a design. Also this one, these two. We can come to conditional formatting under color schemes. One would put such schemes to show that these are the outstanding members at best. Even here, we can put any color to show that these are the best. So we save changes, go to the column graph, go to insert, header and footers, custom header, put your names, then click OK. Go to footer, put your personal number. Then we click OK, click OK. So we are done with our Excel. We save changes. As we continue to the question, one would also create a database. So I can go to access, I create moral database. I open it. Then from here, enable content, go to external data, new data source, Excel. From the desktop, so we click desktop. In my folder, KAKURU BENARD, item 1, more Excel. Click OK. Then we can choose, for example, average computed as our first sheet. Then we click next. First rows contain column headings. Yes. Click next. Next. Add that primary key. Next. So we can call this one, for example, students. Then we finish. So here we have our data. We can take it to design view and do some, for example, these are numbers. Sex is also okay. So these ones are okay. So instead we can now reduce our column headings, our fields, so that data is fitting there well, like that. We save changes. So I would like us to create at least a query by query wizard. Okay, we can create a query, and in this query we filter out, for example, those who have 70 and above. 70 and above. We modify, finish. So criteria under average, we can say greater equal to 70. So run your query. These are the ones with 70 and above. Save changes. We can even use this query to filter out the best students. So 70 and above, I want us to create query wizard. Click OK. Pick from 70 and above. Next, next, next. We can say best 2 performers. Best 2 performers. Modify. Finish. For example, in Excel, under average, we saw that those who were best, they were, we can say greater, for example, greater 82. We run. So these are our best 2 students. We can save changes. Now one can create a form. For example, create a form from 70 and above. Take all fields. Next. So this form, one can even make it a tabular one. Next. 70 and above form. Finish. So this form, we can put it in design view and modify where the hash are. So I can reduce the sex field, something like that. Class can also be reduced up to that level. English can be brought there. We have math, can also be brought backwards. And then finally average, something like this. So one would put a footer, a color. For example, I put that color. Even I come here, I put my background color. For example, there, I can put date and time. Click OK. I put a footer of my names in my form. This is KAKURU BENARD 004. So we are almost done with this database. So one would even reduce these columns a bit, the records, save changes, click view, form view. So this is our form of the best of those who are having 70 and above with our footer. Then lastly, we can also create a report of the best 2 students. So we create a report from the query best 2 performers. Next, best performers report. We finish. So this report also we need to modify it, close, reduce the fields like the sex field, reduce the class field a bit, bring English behind, followed by math, followed by average. So here we can also put our background color. Same here, a background color. Same here, a background color. We can put a footer. Here, pick a label, put a footer. Of your names and personal number. Save changes, click view, report view. So here we are done with our report of the 2 best performers. We close. Now, I want us to use Microsoft Word to create a final report. Microsoft Word document, we can call it Moral School Report. So we open our report, and in this report, we are going to be creative and add some data the way we have generated it. So in this kind of report, we can give it a title. I can say, for example, I can put a header, or here we start, Moral School Academic Report 2024. So this title, we can put it to center, we can expand its font size, can give, yes, something like that. Then after, we can have at least Moral School Academic Report. Then we can say date, for example, we go to insert, date and time, then Tuesday, click OK. You can click this date, put it to the right, for example. So this, we can now even change font style. times New Roman, let's say size 14. Then we proceed. So here we can say director of studies, director of studies report. So with this, we can even say director of studies report. Then this can be centered, font size increased a bit, bordered, you can even underline it. So here let's start. We can have, for example, maybe section 1. Section 1, we can have, for example, special recognition. Special recognition. Under special recognition, we are going to say, for example, students who scored an average. Students who scored an average of 70 and above deserve special recognition. Yes, something like that. E.g., we can come to our access. So this access, we have our students who are above this. One would copy this data, Control A, Control C. You come here and paste. These are our students who have 70 and above. They are here. So these are the ones who deserve special recognition. Then below here, we can have section 2. For section 2, we can say head teachers. This is head teachers list. So with head teachers list, we can say something like the head teachers list of top performers. The head teachers list of top performers. The head teachers list of top performers. Then from here we can say that the following are the top 2 students along with their rewards, of Uganda shillings 10,000. So here we can open our Excel. For example, we open our Excel. Then we go to above 70. We highlight these ones, copy. Then we come to our Word document, we paste. So after doing that, we can now go to maybe section 3. Section 3, where we are looking at maybe graphical representation. So under graphical representation, we can now insert a graph. So still in Excel, we come to column graph, copy, come to your Word, paste. So this is our graph. We can even reduce its size, something like that. Even this kind of table, we can quickly do some simple designs. For example, that kind of design. Then this is our graphical presentation. Then finally, one would also talk about maybe this is section 4. Under section 4, we can have conclusion. And in conclusion, we can say that we can have, for example, 1. This is maybe 4.1. Summary of performance. And we say that, for example, when you look at these students here, these are 28 students. Yes. So we can say that a total of 28 students, a total of 28 students were assessed in the report, full stop. Of these, 7 students achieved an average of 70 and above. And 70 and above may be earning special, sorry about that, earning special recognition, of their academic performance. So this one is done. We can even have maybe 4.2, where we are looking at head teachers list. So here we can say that the best performing students, comma, of the two where we have Ofono, and Kalanda, with scores 85.5 and 82.2, with scores 85.5 and 82.2 respectively on the teachers list, comma, each will receive 10,000 Ugandan shillings, full stop. Then lastly we can have 4.3, where we are looking at a recommendation. So under recommendation, we are saying that it is recommended that the school continues with the special recognition program as a way to motivate students. So here at least we have had summary. This is our report generally. So we can say report compiled by KAKURU BENARD, report compiled by KAKURU BENARD 004. So this is almost done. Let's do some editing. For example, section 1, we had special recognition. We can make it a heading, and in this special recognition we can have students with special recognition. So a subtitle, students with special recognition. Yes, this one can be heading 2, for example. Then below here, this is heading 1. Then this is heading 2. We are trying to use different features. This is heading 1. We have had a graphical representation, so we can expand it a bit. Conclusion was heading 1. Then we have this summary. This one is at least heading 2. This is also heading 2. This is also heading 2. So I've tried to put at least we have put our headings in our report. Make it Times New Roman, for example, font size 14. We can make our work justified. So this is our report at least. It is showing what we are supposed to present finally. I save changes, and here we have almost achieved what we are supposed to do as regarding the task. So make a report that to your aunt will submit the school management for decision making. So here our task is done. Our folder has the 3 applications. A learner would also use only 2 applications, that is Word and Excel. You create Excel and you do the calculations, filter out all that, then after create a Word document with this kind of information. So we can end by putting page numbers in our work. For example, bottom of page, we can put some page numbers so that our document is well numbered. Someone else would even put table of contents because we have generated headers and we have generated headings. So we save changes and close our work. So you remember, while we are marking this item, the following must have been achieved. So briefly, the following must have been achieved in your work, including the following. So 1, we are looking at, while you are attempting item 1, we are seeing that you must have manipulated data using different application programs. Have you done data entry? For example, in our data entry, you have seen us entering data in Access, entering data in Microsoft Word. Also, copying work from sheet 1 to sheet 2 is also data entry. You have seen tables in our work. Editing, we have edited the existing support files by adding average. Formatting, you have seen how we made our report well formatted with headings, with tables, with graphs. You have seen Excel, we added a background color in our headings and some also color schemes. Relevant use of application tools, you have seen we have achieved that. We have represented our data graphically, and finally our work is in soft copy. Then we are supposed to do the printing. So that means that if you are to print, you open your Word, you click File, Print, or Ctrl P. When you go to print, pick, for example, A4, and then here the work will be printed. So you click on Print, your work should come out. If you want, add headers and footers on your work. Then after, go to Excel. Make sure that before you print, the work fits on paper and not overflowing. Ctrl P. So here we can come and choose either portrait. Portrait is okay. Then A4. The work will fit there. It has our headers and footers. Then after print, go to graph. Ctrl P. Choose orientation or portrait. Then after you choose A4. Then print. More to that, go to above 70, Ctrl P, A4, then orientation can be portrait, okay, print. So we are done with our work. Go to Access, open the table. So go to Students, click File, Print, Preview. So from here, the work can fit there up to average, print, okay. Do the same for the queries. Ctrl P or click File, Print. Okay. Go to your form. Ctrl P. Okay. Go to your report. Ctrl P. Okay. Grab a copy of these books. The books are available in stock, and there are also these other source for books, for example, for designing websites using Expression Web. There is also that one for designing websites using WordPress, and also this other ICT Mastery, one of the comprehensive one. ICT Mastery for Uganda's competence-based curriculum, S1 to S4 guide to theory and practical success. Grab this book and do your best with ICT. My contacts are here. Please can call me, you can WhatsApp me and see how best you can have this book. 07756 Call me, WhatsApp me, and you see how best you can get these books. Welcome to today's session. In today's session, basically, I'm going to take you through sample item 1, how we are supposed to answer item 1 in the new curriculum. So here there is one example which I've called sample item 1, and it says, in a small town, a local charity organization called Help Hands Foundation has been managing donations and distributions manually. The secretary of the organization maintains a large ledger book to record donations from benefactors and the distributions to the beneficiaries. Recently, some donors have expressed concerns about the transparency and accuracy of the records. Additionally, during the last meeting, a new volunteer suggested digitizing the records for better efficiency and reliability. The organization welcomed the idea, but most of the members are not familiar with using computers. The records from the ledger book have been transcribed and provided in the support file helphands.docs. And an example thank you letter to donors is available in the file thanks docs. Now, the task: using the support files provided, A. Create an electronic database of the records and use it to generate a report showing the total donations received over the past year. B. Generate a list of beneficiaries who received donations and prepare a personalized thank you letter for each donor. So when you look at this kind of scenario question, this is how these questions will be set for item 1. You need to identify which software, which applications are you going to use. So this number is supposed at least to utilize more than 2 applications, minimum 2 applications. And when we are assessing these applications, there are some factors that we consider. For example, you need to know that while attempting item 1, we are looking at a learner manipulating data using different application programs, and therefore what we consider is use of an appropriate application, data entry if the learner has done tabulation of data, editing of the data, formatting, use of relevant application tools, then representation of data to use multimedia clips, graphical objects, etc. And at the end of it all, a learner should present the product in soft copy and hard copies. So we need to see how are we going to approach this question. Our sample item 1 has been presented to us. We need to see how we can approach it. So going forward, we have the support files here, and the support files here have this help hands doc and thanks doc. We are going to create a folder. So I'm creating a folder. I'm calling it KAKURU BENARD 058. I open my folder. I'm going to attempt item 1. I right click and create a new folder. I call it item 1. Then I open item 1. I can now go into the support files. I get First of all, there is help hand doc and thanks. I can copy these two and I paste them in my working folder here. So I've pasted the two files in my working folder, then I'm going to use them. So this help hands doc, I'm going to open it. This is how the data looks like. So what should you do with this data? For example, when you look at this data, it is separated with commas. These are the headings. Now I can highlight this data. After highlighting it, I go to insert table, then I choose convert to table. I have converted this data into a table. I'm doing some editing. I can continue and modify my table. Can click, I go to table design. Remember, all this you are doing it on your own. There are no instructions telling you to do, but you are showcasing the skills that you have in this Office package or this Office application. So I've done something like that. I can put a title, help hands donations 2024, something like that. So I can highlight, I center my heading, I increase font size, can bold, I can even change the font color, I can even underline. That is enough. I save changes. I can put a header of my name. So I go to insert, I go to header or footer. I can put a footer of my name. So this is KAKURU BENARD 058. I close header footer. So this is the work that I've managed to do in Microsoft Word. I'm going to copy this table and create an Excel sheet so that I can do some calculations. So I've used Word to do editing of the work. I've created the table, I've formatted, I've put headers and footers. So we can now go to Excel. In my folder here, I'm going to right click. I go to new and open, for example, Microsoft Excel sheet. I can call it help hands donations. Help hands donations. I open my Excel sheet, and within this Excel sheet I can paste the data that was in my Word document. Let me try to maximize the columns, expanding them a bit so that they can accommodate my values, something like that. So after doing this, let's do some small calculations. The question was telling us to use an electronic database to use it to generate a report showing total donations received over the past years, so something like that. So here we can have a row for total donations. So under total donations, this donation amount, I can say equal signs sum. I open brackets, I highlight donation amount, I close the brackets and press enter. So something like that. I've put some total donations. I can add another row, for example, to calculate balances or something like that. But this is what basically was needed. Let me highlight the donor's name and the distribution amount or donor amount and create a graph. So I go to insert, I come to the graph and I generate, for example, a column graph. So this is a graph that I've generated. You can put some headings there. So here I can say this is a column graph showing donation amount. You can put the x-axis and y-axis. So from here I can add axis. This is the y-axis. So here if I choose this and I put the y-axis here, we need amount, and then here we have names. Okay, so I've labeled my graph and it is here. Because in your work, we need at least pictorial representation of your data. So this is something that I've managed to do in Excel. I can save changes and close. More to that, we can create a database. Let's create a database file and we import our work. Then we do more calculations in this. Let me open it well. So I right click, I go to new and choose Microsoft Access. I give it a name, help hands database, help hands database. I open my database. So on opening it, I can now import my Excel data into Access. So I go to external data, I go to new data source. From file, I use Excel. Where is my Excel saved? I browse. It is saved on the desktop in my folder KAKURU BENARD 058 in item 1, and I'm using help hands donation Excel sheet. So I double click it, I click OK. Then from here, first rows contain column headings, yes. Then from there, I click next, next. I choose my primary key. For example, I can choose that one is okay. I click next. Then this one, let me call it donation table. Donations table. I click on finish. You can click OK. I close. So this is our table. And this table, this we can remove this row. Can delete this one. I say yes. Now this is our table. Let's double click to have the columns well expanded. So this one, we have it like this. I save changes. Now in database, we can create some objects. Let me create a form, for example. I create form wizard, take all fields, I click next, next. I can call it donation form. I click finish. So on this form, we can do some simple things there. One, put your footer. I can put a footer, you click view, design view. Let me put a footer here. I click there, I pick a label, capital A, small a. I write my names, 058, that is a footer. So on this form, I think it is enough for now. Let me save changes, click view, form view. That is our form. I close. Let's create at least one query. I go to create query design. I add my table. I put all the fields. Now this kind of query, let me first save it. I can call it donation query. Donations. Yes, I can call it donations. I click OK. Now in this query, I want us to use it to calculate, for example, donation balance. We get amount that was donated minus the amount that was distributed. So click in a new field after distribution date. We go to builder. We get donation amount minus distribution amount. We click OK. Now replace this expr1 with a title. For example, I call it balance. And then I run my query. This one comes with the balance. That is a simple calculation we can do there. And also one could do the total donations in a query here. So here you can click there. Then here we have totals. I click there, and then now I will use this option that has come, and I say sum up the totals, and I save changes. I close. Let's create a report from maybe this donations query. I create report wizard. I can create from the query called donations. I take all fields. I click next, next, next. I can put it in landscape. I click next, and I call it donations report. I click finish. So when you look at this report, some columns are not fitting. For example, here we can close print preview. We adjust them. This is too long. We can highlight and adjust it a bit up to there. This one we can expand it backwards. Then we have donation date. From there, this beneficiary name, we can reduce it a bit. We have this amount that was distributed. Can bring it backwards a bit. We have date of distribution, something like that. And then lastly, we have balance, which is here. On this report, I can put a footer of my names and personal number. So here I put KAKURU BENARD 058. Then after putting my footer, what else can I put on this report? Let me click view, report view. So this is our report. It is showing some balance. So this report of ours, if we put it in design view again, we can do some simple calculation here. So we can have a new field here, and we draw our field here. This field I think this field we don't need it, sorry. I think I confused it with a form. So I think that is it for our report. If we click view, report view, here we are, and this is our report. So meaning that in our database, we have made a table, we have made a query, a form, and a report. This is what is important in database. We close. So lastly, remember we had a thanks letter, meaning that with this letter, we need to do mail merge. When you look at such a letter on behalf of help hands, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude for generous donation of that amount. So meaning that having created a database, we can now use it as our contact list to do mail merge. So let's do that. We go to mailings, select recipients, use an existing list, and this list is in our folder on the desktop in a folder called KAKURU BENARD 058 in item 1, and we are using this database, help hands database. So having selected that, we are using donations table, and then we click OK. We have imported our recipients. So let's highlight this date, and we put date that is supposed to go here. We insert a merge field, distribution date. We can bold it. Next is donor name. We can highlight that. We come to insert merge fields. Donor name is here. After inserting that, we can also bold that. On behalf, there is this donor amount. We can highlight that, and we also insert the merge field for donation amount. There is this donation date. We insert merge field date of donation. Then we have beneficiary name. We highlight that, we go insert merge field, beneficiary name, and then finally conclude your name, KAKURU BENARD. My title, I can say Managing Director, Help Hands Foundation. My contact, I say 7756107662 or kakurubenard5@gmail.com. Those are my contacts, the real contacts. In case you want to contact me, they are there. So let's do preview results. Our letter now becomes complete. Let's see other recipients, like that, like that. So finally, all our 6 people are there. So we can highlight, we do some editing. Let's increase font size, maybe to 14. We can justify our work. We can change font style, maybe to Times New Roman. So something like this. Our letter is now okay. And now let's say I may need to put like a watermark. I may need to put like a drop cap. So I can put a drop cap, maybe dropped to 2 lines. I click OK. So something like that. I save changes. Let me put a footer. I can insert a footer of my names so that my work is unique from the other neighbor. So finally, this number is completed. So we need to print here, finish and merge. We edit individual documents. We are finishing mail merge, edit individual documents. You tap here and click all, OK. So these are the letters. First letter for John Dew, the second letter Ben Sison, the third letter Alice Lee, the fourth James Dick, the fifth Mark Brown, the sixth Kent Brilliant. Yeah, so our letters are finished and we are done with mail merge. So let's save these letters in our working folder. It is on the desktop. So on the desktop in a folder KAKURU BENARD 58, in item 1, let's call it thank you letters. Thank you letters. Click save. And so this number is now complete. This number is complete. From this question, after presenting this question, we have interpreted it and found that we have to use at least more than one application. We used the help hands doc to edit the information that was given us and made a table. We edited it and then we put some headings and a footer. We finished. From there, we transferred work into Excel and did some simple calculations and the graph. After that, we moved to database, imported the data from Excel into database. We have a table now. We created a query. We created a form. We also created a report. Those are the objects in Access. And from there, we concluded by generating thank you letters. So this we can delete so that our work is here with 3 applications. So item 1 is done. Item 2 is supposed to be either website designing or publication. So in our next episode, we shall look at item 2. But for now, much of the emphasis was put on item 1. How do we approach item 1? So the question is here. I'm going to include it in the video description. Burn this folder on the CD. So make sure you have a CD R recordable or you have a CD rewritable. So put your CD in the drive. You should be able to see that there is a notification. So here, when you start your CD, put here the title. For example, Agaba Peter 0008. Or if your name is like KAKURU BENARD 007, you find your personal number can't fit. So write one name and your personal number. Peter 007. You have inserted the CD. Please don't choose this option. Don't choose USB. Please choose CD rewritable because you have inserted the CD. Then you click next. When you click next, you can make your screen smaller. So make sure your screen is not too big. So we can adjust this window so that we are able to see this. Then we drag and drop. I'm saying drag and drop. We need to avoid copy and paste. For example, if I right click copy, you may find that because I have exam cyberphobia, I right click, instead of pasting, I click on paste shortcut. That is too bad. So please, it's better you drag and drop. It is saying file is ready to be written on the disk. So right click here and say burn to disk. So when you click burn to disk, that is your name and personal number. Click next. So your CD will be burnt. Use a permanent marker to write your name and personal number. So write there your names, Agaba Peter with a permanent marker and your personal number. After writing on your CD, put it in its jacket. And then after putting it in its jacket, you also put it with your hard copy, the one you printed. Make sure the two go hand in hand. Grab a copy of these books. The books are available in stock, and there are also these other sourceful books. For example, for designing websites using Expression Web. There is also that one for designing websites using WordPress, and also this other ICT Mastery, one of the comprehensive one. ICT Mastery for Uganda's competence-based curriculum, S1 to S4 guide to theory and practical success. Grab this book and do your best with ICT. My contacts are here. Please can call me, you can WhatsApp me and see how best you can have this book. 077-56-107-62. Call me, WhatsApp me, and you see how best you can get these books. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and always follow. In the video description, I have included all the video lessons of Microsoft Word, video lessons of Excel, video lessons of PowerPoint, video lessons of Publisher. All video lessons are within the video description. Check out them. Share this video to everyone who needs it. Job bless and success to Senior 6 candidates. I love you all.